which is ideal for drawing due to its texture and resistance to repeated erasing. The main tool used was a simple medium hardness pencil, e.g. HB or 2B, allowing for clean lines without being too dark. A standard eraser was also used to correct details and clarify contours. The work began by constructing the basic shapes. The character's proportions were first defined: head, body, and arms. Then the outlines of the hood, clothing, and weapons were drawn. The face is represented by emphasizing facial expressions, including the center line of the face, the lines of the eyes, nose, and mouth. The detail work was done gradually from general to specific. After the main outlines, the fingers, folds of clothing, and decorative elements on the character's shoulder were drawn. Minimalist trees were added in the background to create a sense of space and a forest atmosphere. The desired fluidity and transparency in some areas of the image were chosen as the main material. I started by applying the background layer. Soft transitions of blue and purple shades create the feeling of a winter evening, complemented by snowflakes applied with white paint using the splash method. Next, the silhouettes of the trees in the background were drawn with black paint with the addition of water for smooth lines. The main character was made in bright, contrasting colors. An orange cloak and a turquoise dress emphasized the central figure. The paints were applied in layers, from light to dark, with the elaboration of details, folds of clothing, elements of weapons, and a mechanical device on the back. Particular attention was paid to the face and hair. Thin brushes and diluted paint were used here for a soft transfer of shadows and facial features. Contours with black paint to enhance the graphic quality and expressiveness of the image. The final result is a dynamic scene in a winter setting, executed in an expressive style with an emphasis on color and form. Critical analysis of the painting. Before us is a work that declares itself from the very first seconds. Bright, contrasting, stylistically tense. The author works with acrylic on thick paper, demonstrating a deliberate desire to combine the plot drama with an almost comic book expression. In the center is a female figure with two pistols in her hands, dressed in an orange cloak with a hood and fur trim. In the background is a dark winter forest with scattered snowflakes. All together creates a tense but visually attractive scene. What happened? One of the strengths of the work is the use of color. The warm orange cloak effectively contrasts with the cold blue background of the winter forest. There's gaze on the central figure. The addition of a turquoise dress brings an unexpected, even slightly cyberpunk note. The color palette, although limited, works confidently and in a coordinated manner. The snowy scene, the guns in both hands, the gaze directed towards the viewer. All this creates a tense atmosphere in which one can feel a combination of survival, inner determination, and possible post-apocalyptic style. The scene seems to be frozen in the moment before the action. The viewer becomes a witness to the pause preceding the denouement. The work with the silhouette of the central figure deserves attention. The lines are quite clear, and the position of the hands and the tilt of the head give the figure character. The drawing of the folds and fur of the cloak is done in an expressive manner, reminiscent of the illustrative styles of the early 90s. What can be improved? The weakest point is the face. It loses realism due to the broken symmetry, and stylistically does not match the rest of the picture. The lines of the nose, mouth, and eyes look more like hastily drawn elements, devoid of the expressiveness that can be read in the clothes and pose. It would have been worthwhile to either go deeper into the anatomical elaboration, or, on the contrary, stylize the face to look like a comic book or manga to avoid dissonance. The silhouettes of the trees in the background look too schematic and do not create convincing depth. Perhaps the author consciously strove for stylization, but the forest does not support the drama of the scene. Adding several plans or elements, for example, footprints, fog, shadows, would have enhanced the atmosphere and sense of space. The weapon is executed confidently, but its shape is not very readable. The character holds a pistol in his left hand, or outdated weapon, which may have been the author's intention, but requires a little more clarity of form. Whether the right hand holds a walkie-talkie or another weapon with an unusual design is not entirely clear. Clarification in the shape and structure of these objects would have allowed the viewer to better read the story. What could be added? Although the work is done in a decorative manner, the introduction of basic lighting, for example moonlight, highlights on her hair or cloak, would add depth and enhance the drama. The picture provokes questions. Who is this woman? Where is she? Could deepen the context and turn the scene into a full-fledged visual story. Style and atmosphere. The style of the work can be described as intuitive post-comics with pop art elements. It gravitates towards narrative painting, confident contour, and boldness in the choice of image. However, it lacks consistency in the elaboration of details and depth of space. Stylization of a graphic novel or a more complex realism can significantly enhance the artistic expression. Nevertheless, before us is an honest, lively, and memorable scene that demands the viewer's attention and provokes the imagination.